Hello everyone, my name is Raman. This is a game played between Zhao Jun and who is rated 2613 against Viktor Laznicka, who is rated 2666. So both are rated about 2600. So both are pretty strong players. So this is a similar opening that we saw in the last video. Karo Khan exchange variation and Pano Botvinnik attack. So in this game also there are many important instructional point that I will try to cover as much as I will try to convey to you as much as possible. Okay, so let's begin. So white play d4 c6 d4 d5 Karo Khan, and after e takes d5 c takes d5 we have Karo Khan exchange variation, and after bishop d3 knight c6 c3 knight f6 bishop f4 bishop g4 we have Pono Botvinnik attack. So yeah, the idea of bishop g4 is attacking the queen, and the bishop is supported by the knight. So queen b3. Yeah, white is trying to take advantage of the bishop leaving the c8 square, which current I mean which the piece on pawn is undefended. So it tries to attack uh, the undefended pawn and trying to take the advantage of the bishop moving out early. So queen b3 and queen c8, trying to protect the trying I'm sorry yeah, and trying to protect the bishop pawn. So in the last game we saw queen to d7, I guess, if I'm not wrong. So here queen to c8. So yeah, one thing, the difference between queen to c8 and queen to d7 is queen to d if queen d7, yeah, we are taking away. If black bishop wants to come back and play something like e6, so there is an available of d7 square, but if you play queen d7 there is no availability. If you play queen c8, d7 square is available. That's one thing. So after queen c8, knight d2. Yeah, immediately playing knight to f3 is not bad. It is not recommended because after bishop takes pawn takes, the pawn structure will be bad. And hence we'll play first knight to d2 and then play knight f3, so that whenever the bishop captures we can capture it with the we can capture back with the another knight. We can replace another knight. So that's one thing to note. After knight d2, e6, knight gf3, and bishop e7, castle, queen c2. So we have a battle against h7 pawn. So that's something to note. After bishop h5, knight e5, queen e8. Yeah, so queen e8. So yeah, I forgot to say, actually, this is a Carlsbad pawn structure, as I mentioned already in the previous video. This is a Carlsbad pawn structure. So black's idea will be to play on the to have a minority attack. Either play a6 b5 or play directly rook to b8 and then push the pawn all the way down the board. So without even playing a6, and even there is no need to play a6 if we play rook to b8, and then we can push the pawn. So yeah, why queen e8? The idea will be revealed in the next move. Rook e1, rook c8. The queen vacated the c8 square, so that the rook can occupy it. That's the reason. Rook c8. Yeah, what is the idea behind rook c8? Because now the rook is on the same file that the queen is located. So now the idea is to play knight takes d4. Let's say if h6, h3, then knight takes b4. Knight takes d4 is possible because if pawn takes d4, then we can capture the queen. That's one thing to note. So the queen stepped back, queen to b1, bishop g6, knight takes e6, knight takes e6, h takes c6. So yeah, knight f3. So yeah, let's stop here for a while. Yeah, and one important thing to notice, h takes g6. The drawback of this h takes g6 is now there is no pawn. If, for example, if let's say knight f3 and knight f3 and knight g5, then there is no pawn on h6 to vacate to kick the piece out of g5 square. That's one thing. That's one important thing to note. But on the other hand, we can say it as an advantage and disadvantage as well. It although the pawn blunts the diagonal, but the problem is there are always sacrifices in the air on the g6 square. So that's, those are the advantages and disadvantages of taking high stakes c6. So yeah, with knight f3, uh, white is so as you as so black didn't yet realize his plan of playing on the queen side. Have playing the minority attack, but still usually black is the one who plays on the queen side, and white is the one who tries to play on the king side. So white is trying as much as pieces to bring into the king side, to as much as possible to bring all the pieces onto king side. So yeah, so but the problem is black isn't yet ready for the counterplay. So he isn't yet ready to play. He needs a few moves to get his counterplay. So yeah, and after knight f3, a6, uh, yeah, after a6, queen d1, queen d8, and h4. Yeah, as we can see, white is already having his own counterplay. Rook e8 and g3. Yeah, one idea of g3 can, one interpretation can be to play king g2 and then follow it up with rook h1 and then try to have his own counterplay. For example, let's say exchange, and then we can always exchange this. And so there are always ideas of these possible, the g3. So and also protecting the h4 pawn. Knight d7, rook e2, knight f8, rook f1. So doubling on a semi-open file. Bishop d6, bishop c1. Black. The problem with is black is completely crammed. He doesn't have any space to maneuver his pieces, or he even doesn't have his. He didn't even start his own counterplay on the queen side. So yeah, I just uh, uh, watched a video of St. Louis Chess Club video. So the author, the national master, he says it's better to bring your bishop back to your initial square. uh, After bringing all the pieces to the other side of the board, at least when they are not on the when they're not on the left part of the bishop. That's because it can contribute itself. So that's the reason the right now the c1 square is a very good spot for the bishop, because if it is on either of these squares, it only stop decreases the attack or power of the activity of other pieces. So that's one thing. That's the reason we can say it was brought to c1. So he didn't want to exchange the bishop, so that's the reason, or that's another reason. So queen c7, knight g5, so knight e7, f4. Yeah, so let's stop here right now. There is no way to break have a break with e5. And also note that now there is this is the importance. If we have a h pawn on h pawn, then we could have kick the bishop knight back, and then we could have played it. We could have at least tried to play f6 and then follow it up with e5. At least we could have we could have tried to have some break by playing knight to c6 and then having a break. But right now we cannot play f6 without weakening the e6 pawn, and by which we can fall. Which it falls. So that's one thing. What's one important thing to note. And now the e5 is firmly controlled by white. On the other hand, the c1 bishop is a little bit doesn't have any good activity, I should say. Yeah, it's the black's position is really cramped. Knight f5. Yeah, here also instead of f4, even white can try playing king to g2 and then coming up with king to rook to h1, and then playing on the king side is also possible. But I can completely understand He's completely squeezing out. He's completely squeezing out. He's white is not the white is not giving any chances of counterplay. Knight f5, king g2, knight h6, rook h1, f6. Yeah, so the rook has vacated. So now there is a time. I mean, he can always try to play. He can always try to do something on the king on the in the center. So he's trying to have his own activity. A counterplay. I'm sorry. So yeah, one in the previous video I already said that. Uh, if you are trying to if you are weak on if your opponent is playing on one side of the wing, don't try to make unnecessary pawn moves, because it only weakens your position, uh, and it accelerates your opponent's attack. So f6 is very very risky, and I don't think even a good move as well, but I mean it's a very double-edged move, or at least even at least for me a risky move. So knight f3, queen f7. Queen f7 is the idea of protecting, but that's a bad move. We can I mean a little bit of dubious move or bad move, something like that. So rook f2. We'll see why rook f2 in the following moves. Bishop b8. Yeah, knight. So that's the reason. Black played the move rook f2. He's putting his own his rook against on the file which his opponent's queen is located. And yeah, 95. Yeah, if takes and then black's position will be still be much more cramped. So bishop takes. So let's see what happens if f takes. If f takes queen d7 and h5 and g5, bishop takes, bishop c7. So yeah, if he takes, I mean there are many more open. I mean there will be many open many files will be open. So that's the reason he played. I mean g5 will try to at least shut down this file, h file, and also deny the queen hy square. So bishop takes, bishop c7, queen d2, bishop d8. So we are trying to g takes, take on h6 square. That's something. Queen takes, queen g7, queen f4. I mean let's look at this position. Black positions are all are all on the eighth rank itself, and the queen is also like if you enter a bishop. I mean I don't think black can survive many moves like from here. I mean it cannot survive very few moves, and black's game will be over. H5 h6 is coming, and I mean we are always ready to invade on always ready to invade through through f7 square, and that's completely done for black. So yeah, so that's the reason here. After knight takes e5, black captured with bishop takes e5, f takes e5, f5. At least now trying to close this position. So yeah, in the previous video that I showed, the same position, I mean a kind of similar position arise, but there f5 was played, and white exchange the white does an in passant and tries to open up the position. So here there is no such thing as an in passant. So yeah, let's see how white managed to open up the position, and win the game. After bishop takes h6, g takes h6, g4. Now again you can see the importance of rook on f2, and the presence of rook on the same file as his opponent's queen. So after g4, yeah, black's king side is almost is about to completely collapse or shatter, and even now black doesn't have any counterplay on the queen side. So that's really that's really the sad thing one can experience as a player. So here h5, g takes h5, rook e7, king f1, g takes h5, rook g1, and king h8, rook fg2, knight h7, and rook g6, b5. Now I mean, and that's the reason rook g6 was played to cut off the support. And b5. I mean, now playing b5 is complete. I mean, it's already too late. It's like a3. I mean, just playing a3 and then the counterplay is stopped. So queen a8, queen takes h5, and a5. I mean, it's very already it's too late to have your own counterplay on the queen side. So queen h a5, queen h6, rook c7, king e2, b4. The problem with b4 is it only gives white and material advantage. Like for example, takes, and now again it gives an extra. I mean it's like already black took a pawn and h5 and he was a pawn up, and now he's like a 2 pawn up. So queen c8, king d2. Yeah, trying to cover the c2 square. So king d2. Yeah, with the king to d2, we cover the c2 square firmly. So queen to e8, h5, queen c8. I mean, black has run out of. I mean, black has nothing to do. That's the reason he's just shuffling his queen. He's moving his queen here and there. Queen c8, b5, queen e8, and b6. Why not? Pawns need to be pushed. So push the pawns, right? And b6, rook b7, bishop a6. So why bishop a6? I mean, if you move your queen, if you move your rook to d7, then we can still push and we can have some fun. And if he takes, then the g7 square will be weak. So rook g7, and after rook takes b2, king d3. So I mean, we can go to either to d either to d either to d. I mean either to the third rank or to the first rank. Let's see what is the difference. Here white played the move king to d3. Let's see what happens if he plays king to e1, rook b1 check, king f2, rook b2, bishop b2. I mean, this is the most most accurate way to finish, I should say. But still, I mean, king d3 is also very I mean, is more than enough. Rook b3, king e2, rook b2, king f3, rook b3, and king f4. And there is no way. I mean, there is no way to avoid a checkmate on h7. I mean, unless and until you have to give up all your material, like playing some. I mean, if it's a computer, it will play all these stupid moves and delay the mate. But I mean, as humans, we know that it's completely ridiculous to continue the game. And so yeah, here Laznicka Viktor resigned. So yeah, that's it. I mean, there are very important points to note here. First, and black didn't have his own counterplay on the queen side, and he did waste his moves. And when he tried to have his own counterplay, it was already too late for the counterplay. And do not push your pawns on the same side where you are weak. For example, playing f6, I guess. Playing f6 only weakens your king. Playing f6 only weakens your king side, and you are not the person who has you are not the right person to play on the king side. And I mean, white is already playing on the king side. So if any pawn moves only accelerates your opponent's attack. So try to play something like maybe rook to b8, and I mean, it may be too late, but still try to play something like this and try to create some counterplay and try to distract white's pieces from the king side. So that's one very important thing to note from this game. So yeah, that's it in this video. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos, and thank you for watching. And one important thing, what do you want me to cover in my next videos? Do you want me to cover more end games, or do you want me to cover some more interactive games like this, or do you want me to upload some of my games I played, like 10 minutes or 3 minutes or something like that? Cover, just comment in the comment section, and I'll go through your comments, and then according to it I'll make the videos and upload it. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye for now.